be in front of you guys once again. Silent cheers if you're excited about our lesson today. All right, hands are down. So, who can do Mr. Lawson a small favor, read our objective that's on the board? Small favor. Fernando, nice and loud, please.
Students will be able to explore two parts of sheep heart and explain how each part is vital to the health of the human body.
Yeah, so awesome job. Students will be able to explore the parts of the sheep's heart and explain how each part of the heart is vital to the health of the human body. So be on the lookout for that, right? This is what I want you guys to take from this lesson. It's all right here in this objective, right? So, moving along. Before we even get a chance to touch these hearts, right? Before we even get a chance to dissect them. Who can read the definition of dissection on the board for me? Kenneth Oliver, take it away, man.
To cut a plant or a dead animal into separate parts in order to study it.
In order to study it. There's one word in this definition that I want you guys to focus on really, really heavily. What do you think that word might be? What do you think that word might be? Yes. To study. Exactly, right? Instead of us learning about the human heart from a book, right? I thought it would be a good idea for you guys to get a specimen right in front of you, right? A sheep's heart, right? So with that being said, we're not just cutting things open just to cut them, right? We're cutting them open in order to examine them further and to study them. Is that understood?
Yes, Mr.
All right, so let's take a look at our next slide. Before we even get a chance to touch our specimen, there's going to be some tools that we're using, right? Scientists use a lot of tools when they're dissecting or performing experiments, right? Who can tell me what this first tube is? What's this first tube? Yes, sir? It's a probe. Who can tell me what a probe does? What's the definition of a probe? You can read it straight off the board if you like. Naija.
A thin, long instrument that is used especially for examining parts of a body.
Yeah, so take a look at this probe. This probe is pretty pointy, right? It's pretty pointy. But I'm more than sure you guys already are familiar with lab safety rules, which we're going to cover in a little while. You're already familiar with lab safety rules, right? And you guys I want to see about 5 hands raised. Who can tell us what our next dissection tool is? Hands are down. All eyes Shrek and Camille in the back, you guys. Scalpel. Everybody say scalpel.
Scalpel.
Yeah, so here's the scalpel, you guys. Who can read the definition of scalpel for Mr. Lawson? Trey Young.
A small, straight, thin, bladed knife.
A small, straight, thin, bladed knife, right? This is a real knife, you guys. But I'm more than sure that you guys are going to be more than careful with it, right? Mr. Lawson isn't going to turn this over to you guys just yet, right? When you guys need the scalpel, I'm going to come around and help assist you guys in cutting open your specimen, right? So when you need the scalpel, simply raise your hand and I'll come around, right? And I'll help guide your hand to cut open whatever part of the specimen you need, right? Take a look at our next scientific tool. This one is a little bit less dangerous. Pate, what is it, sweetheart? Yeah, a ruler. Who can tell me, what do we use a ruler for, right? Pretty straightforward and simple, Donald. Yeah, to measure things. There's going to be parts of your specimen, parts of the heart, that you're going to want to measure, right? You're going to be able to use this ruler in order to do so. So, take a look at the next set of dissection tubes. We're familiar with these, right? Pretty familiar with them. Tajale, could you tell me what the next one is, please? Hand lens, right? What's the purpose of a hand lens? Raise your hand. What's the purpose of a hand lens? Help me out, Adam.
To look close to the object that you can look closely to small parts
smaller parts of objects, right? And he formulated his own definition with that, and it was a pretty good one. Everybody say great job, Adam.
Great job, Adam!
Take a look at our next scientific instrument. Mine is silver, but yours are going to be blue. Will, what's the next one, man?
Forceps.
Yeah, forceps. You got it, man. Forceps or tweezers, you can call them either one, right? What in the world do we use forceps for? Todd. You can read the definition straight off the board if you like.
Instrument for grasping, holding, running.
Yeah, right? They're going to be very, very small and intricate parts of your specimen that you're going to want to see, right? And what better tool to use than your forceps or your tweezers, right? To gently move things around. Because one thing that I want you guys to realize, when you guys get your specimen, you're going to have to be very gentle with it, right? Very gentle, because one wrong move could mess up what it was that you were actually looking for, right? Take a look at our last scientific tool of the day. Our last scientific tool of the day. You want to go ahead and read that one for me, Kenneth?
Scissors. A cutting instrument having two legs, holes, cutting edges, slide past each other.
Yeah, scissors, right? We use scissors pretty often, right?
Yeah.
Well, scientists also use scissors, right? So keep these scissors handy, because you're going to need these scissors to cut certain parts of the heart, right? So with that being said, you guys have a piece of loose leaf in front of you. We're going to watch a small video before I turn you guys loose on your very own specimen. You guys are going to write down 3 important things that you're going to be looking for as you guys cut open your specimen and study. If you got it, say got it.
Got it!
If you got it, say got it.
Got it!
All right, let's take a look at our video. Remember, we're looking for how many important things?
3!
All right, you're going to write complete sentences down, and after it's done, we're going to share out.
This is the heart. We've cut it in half. So when we open it up, we have the right side and the left side. You can tell that this is the right side of the heart because the wall is thinner here. It's thicker over here. The left side of the heart is going to have a thicker wall because it has to be stronger to pump the blood to the rest of the body, where the right side of the heart is only going to have to pump the blood to the lungs. This chamber here is at the bottom and it's on the left side. So this is the left ventricle. This chamber here is on the right side and it's at the bottom, so it is the right ventricle. If you separate it just a little bit on the right side, you can see that the chordae tendineae from the valves are above the ventricle. So this area here, where the top of the probe is the right atrium. The valve located between the right atrium and the right ventricle is the tricuspid valve. And that's what you see here. You can see that the valve is real floppy, and you're going to have several string structures attached to it, and those are called chordae tendineae. See this lump here on the side of the wall? See how it comes in here, and it comes over that right there? That right there is a lump, and that's a papillary muscle. So it's going to ensure that the chordae tendineae hold on to the valves, so when the blood is going back up to the atrium, the valve is going to close like this right here. The pulmonary, from the right ventricle, blood is going to go to the pulmonary trunk or the pulmonary artery. It's going to be located way on back in here, but it's going to have the same structure as this aortic semilunar valve. So we'll talk about that structure in just a second. Let's go to this left side of the heart. You can see this huge lump here. This is another papillary muscle. These are the chordae tendineae. This is the mitral valve or the bicuspid valve, and it's separating from the left.
So I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here. You guys, do a turn and talk with the person seated next to you. What are some of the things that you guys are going to be looking for while you're dissecting your specimen? Go. got a chance to make it to a few different groups, and I heard a lot of good discussion taking place. Raise your hand if you can tell me, what parts of the heart are you going to be looking for when you guys get your very own specimen in front of you? What part of the heart are you guys going to be looking for? Yes?
The right side of the heart.
The right side of the heart. What are you going to be looking for?
Left ventricle, right ventricle.
The left ventricle and right ventricle. My man Will in the back, what are you going to be looking for, man? Atrium. The right atrium. What are you going to be looking for?
Left atrium.
The left atrium. So the right atrium and the left atrium. Anybody else who's going to be looking for anything different that they want to shout before we move on? Alexis, what do you think, sweetheart? Okay, not bad at all, right? So hands are down for the sake of time, right? Because now I'm ready to get into the fun stuff. But before we do that, or before I cut open the specimens, right? Remember, you guys are going to have your very own set of instructions, right? These instructions are all numbered. And they're all printed in color, right? You guys are going to follow the steps of these instructions on your own. Is Mr. Lawson going to read anything to you today?
No.
No, I'm not going to read anything to you guys today. You're on your own. You're going to explore this specimen on your own. So keep in mind all of the rules that we've been practicing, right? Before we get started, I want you guys to turn and talk to your shoulder partner. Talk about some safety rules that we should follow within the lab before we get started. For a couple sets of eyes in the back. I have 100%, not bad. Raise your hand if you want to share out. What are some safety procedures that we should be following within the lab? Give me one, Jermaine.
No horseplaying.
No horse playing. I like that word. No horse playing, right? Because we have a lot of sharp objects around. And most importantly, we're going to be too busy studying our specimen to horseplay. Yes, sweetheart?
Don't take off your gloves.
Keep your gloves and your jackets on, right? Because these items are protecting us from any type of germs that we may encounter within the lab, right? Who else has something to add? Who has something to add? Yes?
No fighting over the tools.
No fighting over the tools, right? No fighting over the tools. What else? Yes? Yeah, go for it.
No playing with it while when somebody got their hand right there and then you act like you're gonna cut their hand.
Yeah, so no playing with it, not bad at all. No playing with it. No playing with sharp objects in general, right? And I'll take one more before we head out. One more. Yes?
Always wearing safety goggles.
Always wear those safety goggles, right? Because they're protecting your what? Hands are down. I know you guys had a lot of cool things to discuss, but I'm ready to get into the fun stuff, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to cut open our bag of specimens with our scientific tools, our what? Scissors. Yeah, our scissors, right? I'm going to dispose of the liquid right here in the sink. And just a heads up, they have a very, very strong odor, right? So Lawson almost forgot. I should probably put on my what? Gloves! Yeah, just like you guys have on gloves. I should probably put on mine.
I'm a teacher.
Yeah, I don't have blue gloves today. That's fine. Alright, so now that I have my gloves on, you guys go ahead and begin moving to your groups. Go ahead and begin moving. And remember, we're implementing our 6-inch voices. guys may begin.
Okay,
Okay, you can read it.
no,
I'm sorry. Yes, we do.
we have to get the, we have to get That's okay.
I'm the best in the don't fight. Don't fight. So I'll read this text and I will do the part. No, we all do it. I'll read this. Okay. You have to say it. I'm just saying, I'm not. Some part of you last. Okay. I like the heart. I just got it. Kill the heart. Don't kill it. Kill it.
Here's our race.
No, the heart's still alive.
Okay, this and they are because you can shake the side of it is some parts are simple or other parts.
No, not that. You gotta change the color. Some animals even have more than one. Do you know the heart is similar to the
Don't say hey. It's
even if it's not to place the preserved heart put on the second. With the front of the heart facing over,
such as
you know, you gotta be which side is the right option located? It is an organ that touch the red part is a soft It's what you have to the benefit. Is it what you I thought it was different like that.
No, we didn't even cut it out.
It said, no. We have it's right here. 4 seconds. Blood pressure to all We're gonna mess it up. Find the power right archer.
Wait, this is the right side? No, cut it.
Right ventricle. No, not cut it.
This is the right side?
Blood pressure.